Hey there, hi there, ho there. Here we are. We are here. We are talking about values today. We're going to talk about planning our 2021. So, who is ready to kick 2020 to the curb? That's what we're going to start doing. We're going to start kicking 2020 to the curb by planning a 2021 that will be spectacular. So we are going to be doing a series of trainings. So if you're watching this one and you haven't seen the other one, there are 4 altogether that will be your 2021 roadmap. So if you go to hollywoodgatekeepers.net/free look, you'll be able to see all of these together when they're done today. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Trish. Bring on the planning. So when you do plan your 2021, we are going to be doing 4 trainings in a row just to help celebrate the holidays and give you something to munch on that's very healthy, has no calories, that will get you going for 2021. We're going to be doing values, and then I'm not sure the order. We'll be doing values, we'll be doing goals, we'll be doing money, a little talk on money, that's always good, and then also on just the map of planning. So we've been doing these script to screen sessions. If you haven't been, we only have 1 more left next Tuesday. And you can register at hollywoodgatekeepers.net/script to screen. And so you can register for those. And they've been amazing. We've learned so much. They're part of our finished program, which is helping people finish their screenplays. So we've pulled some finished program is a paid course that we have. And we've pulled some of the work out of there. And we've just sharing it in script to screen. So come join us for that. We're having a great time. And one of the things that we talk about there is how you break your life and your screenplay kind of into 3 categories, which is the map that you need to create your screenplay, and the motivation behind your life and your screenplay, and the magic behind your life and your screenplay. And so this planning session will also, thank you for the link there, will also help you move forward with that. So we're going to start today by talking about values. I'm going to see if every week I try. I'll never give up. Did it work? Can you see that? Oh, it worked. See? Persistence, perseverance. It's like every week I try and it hasn't been able to share. So this is what the handout looks like. I'm not going to go through every question, but I'm going to pick a few out of here and talk about them. So we're going to talk about basically the idea that when you are going to make some sort of shift in your life, what is the value that you need in order to make that shift? And we talk a lot about values in our programs because really an understanding of what you value as a human will help you in your life, and an understanding of what your characters, yeah, it's totally slick, right? It totally worked. An understanding of what your characters value will also help move your screenplay in a really authentic, great way. So we really want to help you do that. So we have some questions here about that you can ask yourself and that you can ask your characters, so that you can kind of get an identity with your characters about what they value. Because once you figure out what you value, it all goes in hand in hand, right? So let's see which way. Let's do it this way. So you have something that you say a lot. You say this thing a lot. I'm not a writer, or I need to know someone to break into Hollywood. Say these things. These are just thoughts, words on a page. Those thoughts, if you say them often enough, even if there's a little lie in there, because you don't need to know someone to break into Hollywood, even if there's a little lie in there, that becomes your belief. And the word lie is in belief. And then you start believing that, well, I can't do it. I need to know someone. Like, they only hire people they know. They only read screenplays from their friends. It's just not possible. So that becomes a belief. And then that can really hold you back, right? Of course, because if you don't believe that it's going to matter if you do something, then why do it? It's really makes it a lot harder. Well, the more that you do that, the more that belief turns into a value. And it becomes where you won't value writing or your reading career or whatever it might be, because you have this belief that you're going to be stuck anyway. So instead, some other value that you have, family, friends, these are great values. I'm not saying they're not good values, but it'll start to overshadow that value. Because if you have a belief that this value doesn't merit energy, then and the really interesting thing about that is when that moves into a value, is that the belief becomes, you find proof for your belief, because you haven't broken in yet. And all these people are breaking in because it must be that they know someone. So you're just telling yourself a story. And when we tell ourselves story, we look for things that will back up that story, and we find them. Our brain is miraculous that way. We will find the things to back up our story, whether that story is good for us or not. And so that belief becomes a value, and that value then is like all of your values put together create your identity. So sometimes when we're over here and we've got this thought, I want to do this thing, but because of all these things in between, we're over here and we have an identity level. No, that's not possible. It doesn't matter how many pages we write. If we believe that we'll never break in, like that's who our identity is. That becomes part of us. And you can shift all of this. This is all shake the blanket, move it around. Sometimes it can be really difficult depending on how ensconced that and how much of a grip you have on that belief and on that value. And as part of your identity, often in families say this is the way it is. And if one of our main, so we've got also 3 things that we really need, and that is belonging. We need to believe, we need to belong somewhere. So if we have a family who, if you don't believe this, then you are out, you're ostracized, we're not going to talk to you, we're going to argue with you, we're going to make fun of you, whatever it might be. If you have these kind of people in your life that are ostracizing you for your values or the things that you believe, it makes it even more difficult, right, to step into that identity, because you have to let go of something. And so when you think about it, we do this all the time naturally. I'm making it sound like it's really tact, but we do it naturally. So and so when you think about when you're in school, you have a value and an identity of being a student. When you leave that school, your value shifts. You carry with you a piece of whatever you learned in that thing, a piece of that value, a piece of that identity stays with you, but your shift because you're not a student anymore. So a little bit of your identity and your value changes. You get married, now you have a spouse. Now you have that identity as being a spouse. You have children, now you have the value of being a parent. No matter what happens, even if you get divorced from that spouse, that part of that identity, that will shift again then, but you'll still carry with you all of these different things you've learned, all of these different beliefs that you've embraced. They all become part of your identity. So as you look and you can see in your life the times that you've shifted on your own, now it's like, okay, so how can you be intentional about that? And that's what these questions are for. So I'm not going to go through them all, but I just wanted to kind of give you the idea of what's behind this. So it is like when you ask questions like, what is the most important thing to me in my character? What am I doing, and what is my character's life purpose? They both go hand in hand for screenplays. And if you're a reader and you're reading someone's screenplay and it's like not like gelling, usually it's because these questions have not been answered. They don't know on an identity level what's motivating that character. Answering these questions provides motivation. Answering these questions creates a map for your character, and answering these questions will also add magic, because the more authentically you answer and truthfully you answer these questions, the more authentic your screenplay is and the more people will resonate with it. That's the magic of a movie, is whatever makes it resonate with people, right? That's the main magic of a movie. I mean, there's all kinds of special effects kind of magic. That's another category. I'm talking about the magic that makes everyone suddenly talk about something. So when you have that kind of magic, usually what's happening there is people are resonating with the humanity of the story. Really, the topic doesn't matter. People have responded in the same way to Queen's Gambit that they responded to Whiplash. Those are very similar stories in a way. They're about obsessively achievement through obsession. But people are really resonating with them, right? And so when you get this kind of thing that moves, that's the magic. And by answering these questions, you create some of that magic. So we can be magicians, right? There's a trick to it. The trick to magic is to do the one thing so simple and so obvious that no one ever thinks of it. And that's a line from a movie, Little Girl That Lives Down the Lane. And it really stuck with me because this kid is a magician and he says that. And so they're doing it to cover up a murder, which is so great, right? That he's a magician. He's like a kid magician with the whole cane and everything. And then he does that. So when we think about this and you look at your values and you answer these questions, like, is there something that I want to bring to this world, as you see on the handout, or is there something that I want to eliminate from this world? And so as you can see, like we have 14 different questions. And so the other kind of elements to these questions, and I'm not going to sit and read, you can answer these on your own, is also like the people in your world. the people in your life, the people that you listen to, the voices in your head that are like from the people in your world, sometimes that aren't even yours. Like, how are you going to incorporate that into your values, into your identity, and into your goals? So before we even think about what you want to accomplish in 2021, before we even decide what we're after, it's like, get this, like, do some work here. This is where the foundation is and the groundwork. And it's kind of like the more we did all of our Map Out Monday sessions for our new screen readers, where every single Monday we met in November and we mapped out what we're going to do that week. And what happens when you do that is you start to see the things that you are leaving behind every week. And that gives you a clue into what you value. No judgment. You want to know what you value? Look at what you're doing every day. And our brain is very tricky and it's very succinct, and it will say, you lived through yesterday, so do that again. It's very simple, right? But if we want to make shifts and changes, this is where the work is figuring out, when you want to make screenplays that are authentic, what do the characters value? What are they, what's important to them? What are the things that they either want to bring to this world or eliminate from this world? Could be one or the other, or both. So, and by doing that, who do they want to do it with? When you think about who do you want in your life, when you think about some accomplishment, who's right there with you? Who do you want to share it with? That kind of thing will really help motivate you forward. And also, who are you going to watch? Who do you admire? Who's a mentor that you have that's already doing what you're doing? And how can you learn from them? Not only listening to their take on things, but watching how they do it. I have a lot of coaches. I study from day one, like, how did they find, how did I find them? How did they find me? What did they say to me that made me want to have them be my coach? Like, what are all the steps? What brought you here? I'm constantly studying what brings you here, what it is that you want, what can we provide to make your life better? We are constantly listening, watching the posts, seeing what people need, and creating content to match that need. So when you start looking at that and really start thinking about what are the people that you love to follow, what are they doing? Can you pick up some of those habits? What are the things that, who's in your life that's supporting you in this? Who's in your life that's an obstacle to this? So really kind of being honest with it, with no judgment really, but what it will do is bring some clarity, so then you can make some steps. Sometimes those steps are really hard and difficult. Sometimes if there's relationships that really aren't serving each other anymore, you have to move on from that. I really feel like relationships ebb and flow. People come together and then apart, together, apart. Sometimes a relationship will do that in, that relationship. You go apart, you have friends in school, that then you move away and then you come back together again. That kind of thing happens all the time. And I think we serve each other in that way, and to be honest about what's serving the relationship and what's not. And no judgment and no lack of love in that, but being able to be honest about it. So then what's for the greater good of all. What is the step that we need to take? So download this handout. Think about, watch yourself, put a little camera, a GoPro on, and watch what you do all day. And that will give you a clue to your value. It'll give you a clue to what's important to you. And if there's something that you are not getting, then how can you squeeze that into what you're doing every day? How can you switch that value? And what value is overshadowing the thing that you want to do? And what belief, like we talked about, do you have a belief in there? Like the thing of, I need to know someone. Do you have a belief like that? What do you hear yourself say when you ask yourself, why didn't I, whatever it means, do my homework, write my screenplay, whatever, exercise. It can be like personal things like exercise, eat right, why did I eat that cupcake, whatever. Ask yourself those questions with a lot of love and acceptance, so that you can learn from your own actions. It's really quite amazing. So that's what we have for this week, is like to get you started thinking about your values. And then we'll come back in and talk about goals. We'll talk about money, because that's a big thing in planning that really trips people up. And then we'll talk about putting that plan into action. So that's what we're going to be doing. Right, the questions make all the difference, Toy. And you're always out there doing stuff, so it really makes a difference. So ask yourself those questions. It's a lot of effort to make it effortless. A lot of practice to make it effortless. But that's a quote right there. It takes a lot of effort to make it effortless, And I've talked about this in many different ways. I used to be a ballerina. Ballerinas, like, there's a lot of training that goes in there, and there's a lot of really hard work. And so that there's a foundation, so then the dance can be the freedom. Once you actually know the dance and you're able to do it, you can be free in the performance, because you have the foundation. This is the same thing. We're building the foundation, and it's work for freedom after that. So have a beautiful week, and we will see you next week. And definitely join us for the script to screen sessions. We have one more. You can register, and that's just, we're taking things out of our finished training, which we have a finished training to help you finish your screenplay. And we're just putting those into a free training so that you can get where are the sticky spots, where does your screenplay get stuck? And we're talking about that, and it's been so great. You guys have been asking the greatest questions, really fun. So come to that at hollywoodgatekeepers.net/script to screen. You can register there and join us. We have one more session on the 15th? Yeah, next Tuesday. So we will see you there, and then we'll see you back here next week. Talk to you soon. Bye, you guys. Yay.